Happy New Year's, Bruins!
Welcome back to the new semester. I'm Morgan.
I'm Jordan. And for this month's theme, it is culture. So we're going to dig deeper into what culture means and what the whole saying culture wins means at Northrop. So, culture is the acquired knowledge people use to interpret, experience, and generate behavior. So, over our 4 years at Northrop, Morgan, how do you think our culture has changed?
I feel like me being a senior, our freshman year, we've had a bunch of referrals, fights, and now that we've come to our senior year, throughout the years, we've just drastically declined those fights and referrals. And I think that especially with the peer mentor program, we've really helped with that.
Yeah, I feel like if we would have had that when we were freshmen, I feel like we could have dropped the numbers a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And like, obviously we're going to have those students who like don't really care, like they don't care about school or anything. But it's the fact that we have that like somewhat big group of kids that care about Northrop. We want to change Northrop because when we talk about Northrop, like I just went to the dentist the other day. I went to my mom's work, you know. And so my hygienist actually asked me where I went to school, and I was like, Northrop. And she was like, no way, like I went there. And she asked me, she was like, well, doesn't Northrop have like a bad reputation? And I was like, yes and no, not really. I feel like it's like a small group of kids who have those behavioral issues who like to cause problems, which makes Northrop seem like a bad school. Because we have, like, as our peer mentor program and just even other kids outside of that, like, we care about Northrop and we want to make a change for Northrop and our culture. Because personally, when I say that I go to Northrop, I don't get a great reaction out of people. And it's like they think Northrop is this bad school and, like, we have a bad reputation. But the amount of change that we've made in our school, even just we've seen since our freshman year is like incredible.
Yeah, I agree, especially with the principals that we've had in the past. Each year we've just went from principal to principal to principal. And I feel like from the outside, it looks like the students are bad. The students are making them leave, but that's not what's happening. It's just a change going from year to year to year. And I think that's really affecting the students kind of. How do you think student leadership has played a big role in the culture at Northrop?
I think student leadership is probably one of the biggest things at Northrop because the students make a school school. The school wouldn't be a school without the students. And I feel like it's our initiative to be able to make that change in the school. And us wanting to make the change also plays a big role as well. Because like even with our peer mentors again, if we were freshmen again and we had peer mentors our freshman year,
I would kill to have a peer mentor.
Do you guys realize like how much different that Northrop would be? Like we talk about the referrals going down and the suspensions going down. Like our freshman year, I want to say was one of the biggest years for all of our fights, our suspensions and everything. And seeing that like drastically drop this year I've realized like Northrop is changing.
Mm-hmm. And I completely agree with you. I think that if we've had the peer mentor program our freshman year, we would have had a big change.
Yeah. And I love how the peer mentor group now is playing into our culture. And I really hope to see it like even after we graduate, like even when my brother comes to Northrop, like I hope to see the peer mentor group just like grow and expand and be this big thing.
Yes.
All right. We're going to pass it to Roger and Kaden.
Welcome back, Bruins. I'm Roger.
And I'm Kaden.
Thank you, Morgan and Jordan, for talking about the culture of Northrop. When I think of the culture of Northrop, I think of the Den. The Den is our student section. And the student section is in charge of keeping the energy high and keeping everyone engaged. And that since we're the students of Northrop, it's kind of our job to like keep the students engaged and keep the energy high, even though some days we may not feel like it, but it's always important to keep the energy high.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And from my perspective of being on the dance team and dancing at the games and knowing that there's a student section to cheer us on really helps us out a lot.
Yeah, that's why I always try to like, even though I know I always work all the time or whatever, but like I always try to go to the game and always keep my energy high or always like cheer or whatever that, I don't know, just like not be boring or whatever.
And with that being said about the Den, there's bunches of different ways that you can participate in the Bruin culture at our school.
Like joining show choir, joining the band team, joining like any of the art clubs, being involved in like even like coming to school on time or like raising your hand, participating in class, it's still those are still ways to participate and help better the culture of Northrop without like actually like joining like a team or like going into a club. It's just always about like always trying to put your best foot forward to make the school a better place.
Exactly. And with that being said, like I know from years prior, first we had school renovations, which gave us extra time to get to class. And with last year being half of us virtual and half of us hybrid mix, there wasn't that many kids in the hallways. So we didn't have to go around huge crowds of people. So with that being said, this year back to 5 minutes, it's really hard for some of us. I know I have some troubles sometimes getting to class in 5 minutes. Like I'll hear the minute bell and be like, oh crap, gotta run. So just thinking about that.
Yeah, just as like you were saying, like there's a lot more structure this year and it's kind of hard to adjust to it, even though since like last year we were all virtual with group 1, group 2, and then even the years before that with like the renovations and like some hallways being closed, it's kind of hard to jump back and shift back into going to class on time within 5 minutes. Because I know I still have like troubles getting there because I like to talk with my friends and like just basically like do anything like anyone else would want to do. But like it's really important to get to school on time and learn.
Yeah. And another thing, like in the hallways, instead of stopping and saying hey to like the same person every day, I know that part of like our culture and wanting to care for other people is to just say hey to people maybe you don't know, because you don't know if that's the only like social interaction that person's going to get that day, and that could really help them out.
Thanks, Bruins. Now we're going to pass it back to Jordan and Morgan.
Thank you, Roger and Kaden, for that conversation.
Don't forget to be a part of the promoting the culture at Northrop, especially with being in band, show choir, and all the sports and activities that we provide for you guys. Take advantage of that.
One really good quote that I've heard recently is when you change the things you look at, the things you look at change. So think about that. Don't forget to text 494949 if you guys ever need anyone to talk to. It's the new semester, so if you guys need a peer mentor, don't be afraid to talk to any of us or email Mr. Morales. And
we do want the students and staff to be thinking about promoting the culture, not just the students saying, oh, culture, blah, 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 this. We want the staff to think about it too, because that's how the students get to thinking about it.
all right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.